welcome to the Nevermind podcast, episode 6 or something like that. We think we're deep in the depths of Conowari at Nevermind headquarters. I've got a very special guest with me today, Pedro Natonewski, and for those of you who are a bit more astute out there, you might notice he has the same surname as myself, Matt Natonewski.
Funny about that.
Yeah. So, welcome, Pedro.
Yes, Matt.
We'll, I guess, like you are my father, so you're essentially the father of Nevermind in a way. So, and you've done a Nevermind tour, so I think that's probably a good place to kick it off. 10 years ago, our very first tour was in Rajasthan, and you were on it.
Yep.
What do you remember?
I remember I got very sick.
Don't tell people that.
Near the end. But no, most of it was challenging, very challenging. Riding an unfamiliar bike in an unfamiliar country.
In an unfamiliar way? There's a song by...
Was it?
I don't know.
I
thought you might know it, but... Yeah.
No. But no, the highlights, well, you remember the more challenging bits, I think. The overnight train from Delhi to Jaisalmer.
First class it was too.
First class, but
no,
it could have fooled me. A sleepless night. It was...
I slept like a baby.
You would have, but me being very unfamiliar to this sort of way of travelling, and trying to sleep on a bunk with Indians trying to crawl in all over you during the night, which wasn't very pleasant. But we got a bit of a rest before the tour actually kicked off in Jaisalmer, and it was memorable.
What jumps out, just one thing that you just go, wow, still 10 years later?
Oh, look, yeah, the places we saw, the cities we travelled through, desert. It was very, Rajasthan is a very dry, arid part of India. And
how would you describe the landscape that you remember? I mean, it's a long time ago, but
it varied from desert to wooded areas, a bit of mountain.
Mount Abu, we went
Mount
to.
Abu, yeah. That was memorable. Riding up the mountain and looking at some of the Indian historical sites up there.
Udaipur, the city of lakes.
Yeah, that was nice. So I think that was where one of the James Bond films was filmed.
Octopussy,
yes. So that stood out, and also there's one Jaipur or
we went to Jaipur and Jodhpur. So yeah,
I remember there was an Indian snake charmer sitting by the side of the road, and he tried to lure me over and.
Cobra?
With the cobra, yeah, and I try to stay clear of that. But, there were lots of memorable times and
That's
places.
Incredible, because it literally was 10 years ago. Like it was...
it doesn't feel that long ago, but, no, it was memorable. And
it was a great group. The guys from Griffith.
Everyone got along
Grant,
well.
Shireen, Jason, Craig.
Yeah.
I'm still in touch with all of those people,
It's a good crowd to be with, and, after the ride each day, we had a few beers and a meal and relaxed, in preparation for the next day's riding. So, no, it was a great trip, and I'd like to do another one before I hang up my boots.
I was just going to say that. It was so good that he's never been back.
Yeah. But the old knees are getting a bit dodgy, so things are getting a bit harder. I can still ride, but getting on and off the bike is a bit of a challenge sometimes, so... I'm still riding. I've got 2 motorbikes at the moment.
So, of the rides you sort of know about that we're doing next few years, what jumps out?
Well, you've been trying to spruik the Sri Lankan tour, which sounds a little bit easier compared to some of the more challenging ones like the Himalayas and Patagonia.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Sri Lanka would probably be the one I'd probably pick.
If you like seafood, fresh seafood.
Yeah. Nice climate.
Great hotels, beaches, awesome riding, mountains, everything. It's got it all.
So I think Sri Lanka might be to go before, as I said before, I hang up the boots. And but I think I'll be riding for quite a while yet. As long as I can get on and off the bike, I'm in. Yeah.
So you just bought a new bike. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, just took the plunge and bought a new Moto Guzzi V85 TT, which I just fell in love with when I saw it in Peter Stevens. I've still got a Ducati GT 1000, which I've had for about nearly 15 years, and I love it. It sounds great, goes really fast, which probably a good thing for me.
He truly does love it, because I've been trying to buy it off him for pretty much that entire decade, and he won't part with it.
Yeah, I might have to, because I can't afford to register and insure and all these bikes, and it's I can't ride both of them. But I might have to get. But again, the caddy's a bit lower, so it's easy for me to get on and off. The Guzzi's a bit higher, but it's an easier ride, better sitting position. So but I've been riding bikes all my life, and I've had quite a few different ones.
So I think it's that's a good segue into, well, let's go back.
How did it all start?
Let's go back. Like can you remember any key moments in I guess where you thought this motherfucker's going to have a career in motorcycling, or it could actually. I remember my first ride, but I just wonder what your memories are, and if you sort of what's going to happen.
Going back in time, I mean, my old man, Frank, he immigrated from Poland, and he had a motorbike before I came along. It was an old Czechoslovakian CZ. I think it was about 350. I'm not sure, but he was telling me about it and how he went for his license in Orbost in Gippsland. And he was describing. I still remember when he told me about it. It was so easy to get a license in those days. This would have been in the 50s. In the Orbost policeman just sent him up this hill, and if you get up this hill and back again, you've got your license. So the old man jumped on the CZ and took it up the hill, and apparently the cop didn't see it, but he actually dropped it when he was turning around. So he would have been an automatic fail, but he got back. The cop never saw it because he was too far away, and he got his license. So it started with my old man actually, and then my brother Frank. He's also Frank. He had a BMW 500. This is before I started riding. So it's been in the family for generations, and the passion for riding. And and I sort of got onto the bikes when I met a guy who he wasn't going to the same school as me, but he was going to Geelong Tech, Roger Cowlick, and I met him through my old man. He knew Roger's dad, and Roger had a bike. He was a couple of years older than me, and he sort of taught me how to ride back in Belmont in old McDonald's Reserve off Summit Avenue, around the footy oval. And so we learnt on an old BSA Bantam, 125 Bantam, and that was great fun. And I remember smelling the two-stroke, and it was a pretty old run-down bike, but Roger was tinkering around with it and kept it running. And I learnt on that, and I was 15 years old then, and probably about another 18 months later, I bought my first bike, which was an old Yamaha 125, which I still hadn't got my learner's permit, but I used that just to practice on around paddocks around home. And
geez, for someone who was a bit nervous about talking on a podcast, you fucking go all right.
The memories come back.
You're a natural.
No, not really, but
we'll get you back.
The memories come back, and
keep going.
I enjoyed. It was a passion. It started becoming an obsession, really, and when I wasn't at school or at my part-time, my casual job at Noddy's Soft Drinks, I was riding wherever I could.
What's your favourite bike you've ever owned?
Oh, geez.
Like what fucking jumps out? If you had kept it, you just like, I wish I never sold it.
Oh, look, going back, had quite a few Honda 4s, 500 4, 754, a Yamaha 1100. Went through the Harley phase, but you soon.
Well, tell us about that, because we're not only a family of motorcyclists going back 3 generations, but the tour company business is also second generation. Because
in a way, yes.
Well, absolutely, in a way. Tell us about that. The Harley Day, Great Ocean Road Harley Davidson
Yes,
tours. I remember it very well.
Geelong and Otway's motorcycle tours. I was one of the original members, founding members. Michael Lachlan, who used to work at K-Rock, he somehow, I don't know how we met, but somehow we did, and him and I got together and started this touring company. But we were taking people on the back of our bikes on the Harleys. A lot of people had riding on the back of a Harley as a bucket list.
It wouldn't have been you guys down at the local blue light disco with the teenage girls on the back that I used to see.
Well, we met a policeman who got into it with us too, and he had a foot in the door with the blue light discos that the police ran. So he got us doing 5-10 minute rides there each time they had a blue light disco at the old Lyric Theatre.
So if you don't know what that is, that's the underage disco where
teenage kids.
I'd see Dad would be out with taking all my girlfriends around around Geelong for rides. So.
Had to be careful because they were wearing these small, very tiny mini skirts, and they had to be very careful not to touch the exhaust pipes or they'd burn their legs. And a couple did, but we never got sued.
I think that's some kind of conflict of interest in there, but we'll leave that one there.
We had a duty of care to look after the passengers, so we made sure their legs didn't touch the exhaust. But that was fun, and we took people down the Ocean Road right down to the biggest ride we did was down to Port Campbell, an all-day ride, that was one I did by myself with a Japanese student. I picked up from Lara one morning and took all the way to Port Campbell and back. That 12 hours there and back, and that was a lousy day weather-wise. It was windy and cold and wet, but she wanted to go. So for me, it was a bit unpleasant, but she enjoyed it. She loved it.
You did that for quite a few years.
Yeah.
I remember up until I think when I was 18, we still had a few Harleys floating around because I used to borrow them. Take the girls for a spin.
I didn't know about that, Matt. That's news to me, but
you were okay with it. I'm pretty sure it was approved.
Okay, I can't remember
pretty
that.
Sure.
I can't remember that.
Yeah, well, anyway.
We did it for 2 or 3 years, but then probably about 4 years, and I just got to. It was getting hard because the insurance. What they call that insurance?
Third party or
the public liability.
Oh, yeah.
Public liability insurance got to a point where it was just not worth doing at all. You're paying more for the insurance than you could make in a year because we're only doing it part time on weekends. But there was one very special client I had once. They booked me for a half-hour ride. I had to pick up this 17-year-old boy from it was a care hospital. No, it wasn't a hospital, but it was one of those clinics for cancer patients. He had terminal cancer, and it was one of his vast wishes that he wanted to go on the back of a Harley. And I rocked up there. Again, it was a lousy day. It was the middle of winter, and it was cold and wet. But the kid, he was so rapt. He was over the moon when we did the. We did a bit more than half an hour, but he loved it, and so it was fulfilling to know that you sort of gave someone one of his wishes in life. So there were quite a few special moments doing the tours. Hens nights were fun.
I bet. Yeah.
I picked up one girl on a hens night down in Geelong, and. The deal was to take her to Torquay and drop her off at the Torquay Hotel. And again, it was another wet and miserable night in the middle of winter. And when I picked her up, she was dressed as a chicken. She had a chicken outfit with a little basket of eggs that she had to hold on to. And her girlfriend said, "Well, if she drops any of the eggs, she'll have to scull that many cocktails when she gets to the Torquay Hotel." As it turned out, it was embarrassing, but she never dropped any eggs. I got her there in one piece and stood with her in the rain waiting for the rest of the girls to get there in the minibus that they followed in. And we got some lewd remarks from all the guys that were walking past in and out of the pub, and like, who's the bird, mate? And, oh, geez, and but I stood by and looked after her till the rest of the crew got there and took her into the hotel, and I went home. And it's saturated.
You're a real gentleman.
I had to be.
That's what I get.
Professional at all times. Yeah,
must be in the genes.
Yeah. Well, we have to uphold the professionalism at all times.
Yeah. Those who have been on my tours know that I'm 100% professional all the time. There's no drunken shenanigans. There's no nothing.
You do a good job,
it's all
man.
above board.
What I've seen, there's a few shenanigans, but
Oh, we like a party. We do party.
No one gets hurt, so yeah.
No. That's I just did that trip in Indonesia and with a group of other tour operators from all over the world, and quite a few of them have had people killed on their tours, and they were like, "What? You never have?" And I said, "No
fatalities.
Never.
That's good."
And I run more tours than these guys, and I do bigger tours. Like these guys, Europeans are different. They'll do exclusive stuff. You'll have 4 friends. Yeah. And you'll take the tour guide and you'll just do it you guys. That's really the norm. That's the way they do it. Yeah, whereas we do it with random people. We mix people up. We'll have like 10, 15 people on a trip,
which is probably better because then you interact with people you haven't met before and you learn things.
We haven't killed anyone.
That's a bonus. Yeah.
We haven't had any really serious injuries. We've had a broken leg, like a collarbone, but nothing. Touch wood.
Well, same with me. I had no fatalities, no injuries, no occasional burnt leg at the Lyric nightclub with the blue light. But
if you get on a bike with a
half naked,
it can happen. But
very high exhaust.
The good old days of the Lyric and
but you asked me before my best or my favourite bike I ever owned. Look. Besides the Caddy that I still own now, I go back.
Pretty sure he's going to say Laverda.
Yeah, I had a Laverda 1000 Jota. It was a tricked up bike, so it was a 1979 model, I think, and it was capable of doing 150 miles an hour, and that was pretty fast for a standard bike. Well, it was a bit tricked up, but relatively standard. I went around Tassie with my first wife. On that, and that was it's a heavy bike. It was a bit top heavy. It was a bit hard.
Your first wife was my mother, I believe.
Your mother.
You should have fucking left her down.
Can't be like that, mate. But we did that. 3.5.
Love you, Jan.
3,500 k's around Tassie, around and up and down the centre and everywhere. So it was great. But it was a hard bike to ride around tight corners. It was very heavy on the front end. But it was a lovely bike, and I wish I had kept that. It's probably one of the bikes that I really should have kept. But the kids were coming along, and it would be worth a bit. But it's just a beautiful looking bike, and it had a lot of charisma. And the kids, Mac came along, and
fucked it all up.
I couldn't. The cost factor of having children.
So, your favourite road? What's your favourite best road you've ever fucking ridden in the world?
In the world.
Anyway,
I've only ridden in India with you. But,
one of your favourite. One that jumps out.
Look.
He goes, I just love riding it. It could be a straight piece of road that you just enjoy.
No, I think the Great Ocean Road is still my favourite in Australia. I went to Queensland and back on a Yamaha 1100, but I don't remember too much about that, so it must have been pretty uneventful. But the Great Ocean Road has a lot of memories for me with the tour, with the Harley Tours, and just riding with mates around there. It's a beautiful, challenging road, scenic, even the hinterland.
I'm pretty sure you told me this story, but back in the day, you guys used to do some somewhat illegal activities down there. Maybe race down the Ocean Road, and the last one there had to buy the drinks.
We weren't. Well, you didn't.
I don't know if it was you, but I'm just saying. I heard stories.
We went pretty fast when we were riding, together, just as mates and in a group of mates. So it was a bit of a race to get to Lorne and back.
Wouldn't fucking get away with it now.
No, we didn't have an 80 kilometres speed limit in those days. But in the hinterland, going through Dean's Marsh and Bowen Downs and
Have you done Turton's track lately between Beach Forest
and
Forest?
Again, funny story.
That's a ripper now.
when I first encountered Turton's track, mate and I were coming back from Adelaide. I had a 500 Honda, and he had a 750 Honda. And it was the weather was great all the way to Adelaide, and on the way back it changed, and we had, a bit of a storm happened, and we somehow got we got a bit lost, and instead of coming along the Princess Highway, we ended up going through Turton's track. I don't know how we got there, but I think we thought we'd take a shortcut.
Google that. It's an amazing place.
Turton's track. And in those days it was dirt, and it was raining when we Phil Martin was the guy's name I was with at that time. He's passed away since, unfortunately. But we struck it, and it was mud. It was wet. It was windy. The trees were blowing around everywhere, and it took us an hour to get from the beach forest end of Turton's track to the other end, and it's only about
17 k's. It is.
17 k's.
But it's 17 k's of the windiest fucking road you've ever fucking ridden.
It is a beautiful area. Now it's bitumen, and but it's still very.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but you've got to be aware of buses coming the other way and cars, obviously.
They don't let buses down there anymore.
They don't?
No caravans. You're not allowed to tow cars. It's just cars.
It's quite narrow road, but it's beautiful.
It doesn't stop people, but you don't see them much.
But that first time I went down it, we never thought we'd survive it. But an hour to do 17 kilometres, you can imagine, how dangerous it was.
I mean, that's the Otway Ranges, which is the Great Ocean Road hinterland. I don't know what you call it. It's a mountain range that runs to Cape Otway up to basically Geelong. Anglesey. I would say that for me is a really special place.
Yeah,
kind of where growing up there riding used to take us down there as kids. So even though I learnt to ride here in Geelong, but weekends and school holidays we'd go down camping down there.
Eyre Valley.
So I learnt that's where really I think the seed was planted for these bigger adventures. You were a pretty irresponsible parent, if I must say. Like, fucking put me on a 100cc 2-stroke bike, helmet, tank of fuel, fuck off. And I used to go off by myself. Like,
that was the best way to learn.
It was. When I say that tongue in cheek, it was fucking incredible. Like the best childhood a kid could ever fucking ask for. Like cruising around those logging tracks around the Otways. Well, we had mud and that. Just got this sense of adventure.
Yeah, that's where.
And then I'd have my cousin Nathan and Marco and Pugsy, my mates would start coming.
Remember, we spent a weekend down at Eyre Valley.
Yeah.
Riding,
we got kicked out once.
Yeah.
You guys got on the piss and threw eggs at the neighbouring campsite.
Yes, there were a few other neighbouring campers there, and we had a few altercations with eggs.
The ranger the cops told us to fuck off, I think.
Yeah, we weren't welcome anymore. But that was a beautiful spot.
I'm glad that party gene didn't get passed down. I'm fairly reserved and quiet, but...
I think you say that tongue in cheek too. But... no, you have had a good childhood, and I think I wouldn't say I was irresponsible. I was probably a bit lax. I gave you a lot of freedom.
That's the way we did it. That's the way it was done in those days. Yeah.
Well, I had a lot of freedom when I was a kid, and
it worked for me.
And I didn't stuff up too much.
I fucked up heaps.
I remember one particular incident.
I can see where this might be going.
I don't know. I must have been. I don't know where the money came from, but I bought. I encouraged Matt to pursue motorcycling because I love it. It's in my blood, in my dad's blood. So I could see Matt becoming obsessed. I didn't
take a lot of encouragement.
No, but I thought
I was hooked. I still remember the first time I got on there. I was hooked.
Yeah, you're my first son, and I thought he deserves a good bike now. He's grown out of the 100cc one, so I bought him a 250 DR Suzuki, and
fuck, I love that bike.
Was it brand new? It was
fairly new. It was fairly new. It was a big bike for a 15-year-old.
You're only 15 too, yeah. So, but I had a lot of confidence in his riding ability, and he never had any major accidents on it, but only the fact that he burnt it to the ground, but that wasn't through riding.
Well,
so I don't know. I don't know if you've explained the truth to me yet, Matt, but maybe you can.
I will tell that story, and I hope this recording works out because we're recording on voice memos, not GarageBand like we normally do. But so if not, we're going to have to tell it again. But
no.
it was fucking middle of winter, school holidays. We were down the Warm Ponds Creek.
Yeah.
It's on the outskirts of Geelong. There was a few of us. There was probably one or two other dirt bikes. There was a big group of teenagers, probably 10 of us. It was fucking freezing. And we needed a fire. We needed a fire going.
Yes.
And we couldn't get one going. Everything was wet. The wood was wet. The fucking matches were wet. Someone had a cigarette packet they ripped open and said, we'll dip it in your fuel tank and get some petrol on it.
Bad idea.
And one of my most dickhead mates, and I'm not going to name names because, and I hope he's listening because he's a fucking dickhead, he lit it, it went out, and then he put it back in. And there must have been a spark or a flame still on the fucking paper. And flames started shooting out the fucking fuel tank of my DS 250, which was like my dream bike at the time. And we didn't know what to do. We fucking freaked out. We should have just put the lid on, cut the oxygen, it would have gone out. No one would have known any better.
You don't think of these things.
Dumb cunts. We fucking flipped the bike up and tried to push it into the creek, and the fuel went all over it. And, like, you don't know, like, how quickly this happened, but that bike just fucking just burst into flames and burnt to a crisp, and there was nothing left of it. And they're fucking plastic fuel tank, plastic this place. You know, it was like, and we were just idiots. And I'm pretty sure I disappeared for a couple of days thinking, I think fucking suicide's a good option here. I'm too scared to come home.
No,
but
you dealt with it. When I found out, which was, I don't know, it wasn't that long after. It was really the same day or next day. I don't know, because I've had a few incidences with fire too, and I nearly blew myself up with a Roman candle once too, which I did a similar thing, and I took the wick out and stuck a match.
Yeah, but it wasn't a $3,000.
It wasn't a $3,000 candle. But
which is probably worth fucking $8,000 in this day and age.
But you tend to forgive and forget when it comes to your kids, I suppose. So I just hope he learnt a valuable lesson from that. Did you?
Well, that was 30 years ago. I'm 45 now, so I was 15 there. It was 30 fucking years ago.
We haven't burnt any bikes since then. So it
was 1992.
Yeah, around about that. Yeah, that's about it.
So, yeah, I've made a lot.
We haven't done it again, so.
No, I don't think I have.
Have you had any accidents? You haven't had really any major accidents on bikes either, have
you? No, not really. No. I'm unlicensed at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's just through speeding.
Well, it's by choice, really. I think.
Wasn't by choice.
Yeah, no. I had the Victorian police and I got together and we decided it was good if I had a bit of a break from the Victorian roads. They wanted me to stay home and focus on Nevermind and get things ticking over.
Okay. Well,
and it's a mutual decision. They said, look, 6 months is a good time. We think you can get it up and running again.
That's your story.
Then you're back on the road. And I went, okay, officer, that's a good plan. I'm going to shut the fuck up and just, let's agree to disagree on that one. And we agreed and we got on with it. So,
well, that's what bikes. I got pulled over on the caddy going to Adelaide. I was passing a semi-trailer loaded with so it was a car transporter. It was loaded with cars, and it was just this Victorian side of Border Town, and I was doing it. I pulled out because I didn't like sitting behind it. I didn't like sitting behind a bloody big semi filled with cars. It didn't seem safe to be behind that, so I pulled out and passed it, doing about 125 k's an hour, and then the cop car was coming the other way, unfortunately for me, and he put his lights on and he ended up doing a U-turn and chasing me and got me, and that I didn't lose my licence, but it was a hefty fine. He cut it back to about 17 k's over the limit.
Fuck all.
But he was pretty good when he
said doing 40 over.
Yeah, well, that's where you lost your licence.
It wasn't lost. It was just a conversation we had, and we agreed.
We came to an agreement.
We came to an agreement that I wouldn't drive for 6 months.
But the cop said a funny thing, and I remember it to this day when he charged me with it. He goes, "I know these bikes are designed to go fast, and you don't buy a bike just to sit on the speed limit all the time, but you got caught, so you got to pay the fine." I said, "Yeah, thanks very much." But it is very hard to stay on the speed of them, especially on a Ducati.
Well, well, in my situation where we agreed that I would take some time off, I was on a brand new bike, not brand new bike, but I picked up the bike that day. And I normally ride a 400cc Himalayan, and all of a sudden, I'd gone to Melbourne. I picked up this thing on Marketplace for a bargain, 1200cc BMW Scrambler. I'd had it less than 24 hours, and I rode down 13th Beach Road, no one in sight. And
when you think it's safe, it's not.
there was someone in sight, and they turned out to be my friendly local constable. But we had a conversation, and we just agreed that it'll be better if I take some time off. And I'm really grateful to that officer because I've been able to stay home, focus on building my website and getting Nevermind going again. So actually did me a favour. So hey, that's how it works. You can be pissed off about it, or you can look at it as a positive. I choose the positive.
You have to look at the positive side of it, and it gives you a chance to catch up on work issues. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for your time. It's been half an hour. We're going to do this again when I've got the proper setup because I'm a bit concerned about the sound quality on this recording. Well, and you have a Christmas party to go to that I'm not invited to because I'm ostracised from the family. That's another story.
Hey, Adam, if you're listening, my brother, who rides a BMW 1200 as well. So we love each other, but we're going to catch up another. We've decided that this Christmas we're going to have some time, some space for each other. We didn't have a conversation, but I'm sure that's how it is. We love each other, but it's fine. Thanks for your time. I think I think you've enjoyed the podcast.
I have, and it's lots to talk about when you've got bikes involved, and it's a common.
And we could go on for 3 or 4 hours. I've got so many stories popping into my head.
Yes, I've a few.
And I want to go deeper. I want you to tell, actually, on the next podcast, a story about my grandfather and the young bull and the old bull.
Oh, yes, that's another story too.
It's an old Polish fable, and we're going to tell that on the next one. So we might get together in the new year, and when I've got my shit together, and we'll do another one. So you guys have a good Christmas, New Year, and there's Sri Lanka in February. Still got a couple of places. I got one bike for Patagonia, and then the website's coming out next week with all the new stuff. So stand by.
Never mind the noise. Chase the adventure.